my life is lucky. I'm really lucky.
Nobody had run, like, career-wise, more sub-10-second races than you. You are it.
Now, that's the fastest I've ever ran. I've never ran faster than that. Like,
having men and women sports, that's what I'm getting.
A lot of the times they wouldn't let me get into events because they would be like, oh, we don't know who he is. Gave me tickets too, and I was in the stands. I was crying.
You know, looking at your whole career, was that the biggest disappointment?
If I could have finished that race, who knows what the world record would have been. I mean, you see it a lot. Some people go have a bad race. It sucks to be you.
This doesn't end well unless it ends. Can't just report the fucking obvious.
I don't care what a critic got to say, I got them picking up the pieces. That mean you really playing with your life, I'm about to come and
just a motherfucking jump. Just go. Let's fucking go. This is the Outlaw Apostle Podcast. I'm your host, Troy Neff. I'm the fucking guy. And today, the biggest moment in our podcast history, we have with us legendary runner Maurice Greene, the GOAT. Were you going to ask you, were you going to show us the tattoo too?
I can show the tattoo. Sounds good.
Yeah, that's good.
Right there.
That you gotta love that, man.
Yeah.
I love people who are confident, and that's one thing you always got from you was that you were known for being a little confident.
Yeah, that was my domain. I run everything.
That's great.
I always said I was the president when I was on the track. So.
Well, we are so happy to have you on the show. And, of course, Chase is with us. Chase, how you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good.
Got everything set up pretty good now.
Yeah, I kind of like this little setup. It feels a
not
little more
bad.
professional over here.
All right. We got you. We got you covered, man. And so, Maurice, again, thanks for coming. And I'm so looking forward to this and want to get, go over a little bit of the history. But what's also important, at least to me in our conversation today, is to also, a big thing for me is mindset, and obviously when you, to reach the pinnacles of success, the ultimate pinnacles of success that you've reached, it's not a straight line, there's setbacks and how we handle those mentally. And I'm a guy who always identifies super strongly with sports for that reason, that you're going to go through those obstacles and then taking that into my personal life too. So
yeah, I mean, that's like with anything you do, any time in life that you really want something, it's not going to just be handed to you, or as my parents used to say, if I just give it to you like that, you ain't going to take care of it. But all the stuff that you worked hard for, that you really worked for, you took care of it. And that's just like sports. It's not going to just be handed to you. You got to work every day to try to be the best at what you're doing, and everybody's coming after you. So
yeah, and to start out, you had some siblings to work you over a little bit.
Yeah, my older brother. I mean, but that's why I got into sports, though. I mean, my competitive nature came from me just wanting to do everything better than my older brher.
Ernest?
Yeah. Whatever Ernest did, I wanted to do it, but I wanted to be better. So I can contribute everything that I've done and I've accomplished to him.
So he was probably, you would say, because you started basically when you were 8 years old. So, he was your influence to get started at such a young age.
Yeah, he was. I mean, you see stars and you see other professional athletes on TV and things like that, but I didn't have any contact with him. And then my brother, I mean, he was doing some good things in sports, in football and in track, and being written up in the newspaper and being on the news, getting talked about. I was like, oh, that's cool. I want all of this stuff. So. Everything I wanted, everything my brother had and more. So just drove me to just try to be better than him.
I think I read it was a National Junior College championship. He won 200.
Yeah,
was that the 200? That was his thing? Yeah.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
He was pretty good. He made it to the finals of the 1992 Olympic trials.
Oh wow!
So he was in the finals in the 100 meters. So
yeah, you had a path. Now, is it true? Because I read where you actually told your first coach that you were gonna be the fastest man on the planet. Is that true? How do you know at 10, man?
No, well,
How does that happen?
I mean, as kids, you're always talking, but I always had a lot of confidence in myself.
That's really big, though.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
hey, they say words are powerful, so
Yes.
you can always speak it into existence.
I'm a believer in that. I'm
Yeah.
a big believer in that. And you certainly did that. So tell me, like, maybe something you haven't shared before. What do you remember about your first race or any of your first races or the first race that you won? What still sticks with you today about that?
It's just the joy of it. I mean, I started when I was 8 years old. I did have a lot of success when I was competing then. So, it was good. But I still worked hard, though. I mean, I can remember times at practice, the coach tells me to go, and then my brother and then all the other guys that was running also, they would try to catch me. And the coach is like, don't let them catch you. And then they're like, nah, we're going to catch them. But they could never catch me. So that's how I looked at it a lot of times. I'm just running from the older guys and trying to be better than them.
Then later on, you played football too, but did you play baseball in your youth? Anything else, or just track and football was mainly your thing?
Yeah, track and football was mainly baseball. I mean, I had some friends that played baseball. It's just too slow for me.
I didn't even think of that. It's obvious.
Baseball, you be out in the outfield swatting flies, and, waiting before you hit, and then everybody just want to hit anyway. But baseball, I don't know, that hand and eye coordination, I never really got the hang of that one. So if I go to a batting box, and ain't no telling what's gonna happen.
I was kind of curious though, because like for me, I did play team sports. Nothing at any level like you've done, of course, but I preferred individual sports were my favorite, like, wrestling, later golf, because our football team sucked mainly. I mean, I loved football. I wish I'd have played football in high school. I played in junior high, but I liked the individual sport because I didn't have to rely on anybody else.
You can't rely on anybody else. It's all you. In every other sport, in football and basketball, you can take a play off. And sometimes you can hide behind somebody else. But when you're in an individual sport, it's only you. What is going to happen now? And it's all on you. You can't blame somebody to the left or somebody to the right of you.
Right.
Whatever happens in that event, it's all because of you.
Well, I'm sure they expected you because of how good you were to be in the relays. But did that give you any closeness to the same joy you got as running just on your own?
No, relays is fun. That's when we get to all come together as a team because we're so individualized,
right?
And everything else. So when we get together and come together as a team, it's a lot of fun just to go out there and show who's the best.
Now, how far do you think you could have taken what football if you'd have chosen that path? Did that ever cross your mind? You ever think about that?
I mean, I would like to have thought that I would have made it to the NFL, but who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you did start. So when you get out of high school after being a 3-time state champion, three years in 3 different events, right? Like 3 years in a row. You just don't hear that. Like especially, typically it's going to be juniors and seniors. You started your early winning those state championships.
Yeah, I did.
Doing that. Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't easy, but it was hard though. But but originally I was supposed to go to college to play football. And then 2 weeks before camp came, before I was supposed to leave, my coach at the time and then my dad had all came to me and be like, "Look, you're a much better track athlete than a football player." And they had already went to do some talking to some shoe companies and things like that. My life is lucky. I'm really lucky. It has a lot of.
You made your luck, though, right?
Yeah, I did. I would just say I took advantage of every opportunity I got. And that's one thing you have to do. But it was some luck involved in there because I got offered a contract right out of high school. And
Yeah,
and in that time,
that
it's
wasn't
not,
that common then.
yeah, it's not that common. So, it was a hard road, though, because I didn't take the typical road as everyone else to go through the college ranks and then be competing there and try to build up my name there. I'm just, coming out of high school trying to build my name up like that. So, and then being from Kansas City, it's not from a big city where you can really get your name out there. So
Right.
a lot of people outside of the Midwest didn't know who I was.
Yeah. And so, but you started out at Kansas
Yeah.
originally, and then went to the Kansas City, Kansas Community College. And like KC, that's a lot of K's.
It's a lot of them. Yeah, I did just because I wanted to just stay with my coach, and I was traveling back and forth. But just wanted to stay with my coach and then train and be prepared.
Yeah. And then I read where one of your early big wins that back then you actually beat Carl Lewis.
Yeah. But like I said, when I first started, coming out and running, a lot of the times they wouldn't let me get into events because they would be like, oh, we don't know who he is and he hasn't done nothing in college and things like that. So it was hard for them to let me have a lane and get to run. So we went to Texas Relays one time, and then somebody had dropped out the race, and they needed to fill that lane. So they called my coach and was asking like, "Hey, does he want to come in this lane? Does he want to run the 100? He got to run against Carl and all them." So my coach asked me, and I like, "Yes, let's go." And
how cool is that, though?
No, it was.
That's almost like being the last pick in the NFL draft, right? You know what I mean? Like totally underestimated.
No,
they weren't expecting you to do anything, let alone win.
No, they were not. They did not expect me to do anything at all. But I went down there and I won. That was my first time, my very first time running against Carl Lewis, and needless to say, after that race. It wasn't,
you could get a lane.
It wasn't too hard for me to get a lane anymore.
Well, that's good. That's good. So after that, kind of going back to family, your mom and your dad, you'd mentioned your dad a little bit. Who was a bigger influence parent-wise? Was it kind of equal? Was there who pushed you the most?
I would say it's kind of equal, but I mean, I didn't really need much pushing because when it came to sports, I was just like, I'm all in. And I was like one of those kids, they got to tell me to stop working out because I want to just keep going. And I remember it was really hot one day, and my father was like, you going to pass out. I like, I got to be better, though.
Yeah.
So I didn't really let anything stop me from working out or anything else. I always wanted to just be the best.
Yeah. And then you focused right after that win, pretty much just becoming a pro.
Yeah,
that was the focus at that point. And then obviously, Team USA, the Olympics. I mean, that's kind of the journey from there.
Yeah, yeah. It's something once you get on that road, and then everyone always wants you to come and compete in, and then the U.S. team is the hardest team in the world to make because if you're not in the top 3, you're not gonna make it. Mm-hmm. And it's not like you're not capable of being in the top 3, but you have to be on that day.
On that day,
yeah, because I mean, you see it a lot. Some people go have a bad race. Yeah, sucks to be you. like literally, it's tough. You can't in the U.S. trials. You cannot falter at any time.
And was that pretty much your whole career? Looking at your whole career, was that the biggest disappointment? Was not making that first Olympics for Atlanta?
Yeah, 96 was really devastating for me because in 95 I made the World Championship team. Was going to represent my team in Gothenburg, and then the Olympics is in America here in Atlanta, and I like, oh yeah, now I know I'm ready. But I got hurt and wasn't able to really get into top form. And like I said, going into the Olympic trials, I mean, I PR'd, I ran one of my fastest times that I've ran in the first race, but you got to come back to do it again and again and again in the Olympic trials, and I just wasn't in the type of shape to do it.
And that's different than it is today. Is that right? Where, I mean, as far as how many rounds you have to do?
Yeah, no,
like
we had 4 rounds. Then now they have 3, so it's a little bit easier now. But you know, it's still you got to get to the final, and then anything can happen.
Yeah. So what did that do? Like, how did that affect you between there and the next chance you had as far as your training mindset? I mean, did that add fuel to the fire?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, because my manager at the time, he made me actually go to the Olympics. I drove from Kansas.
Oh wow!
I drove down there to Atlanta. I was in the city, and then they gave me tickets too, and I was in the stands. I was crying, and for the 100 meters, I was crying, and we didn't get a medal either. I was like, oh no, this ain't good. I mean, how can the Olympics be in America and we don't even get a medal? And I was like, you know, I'll never let this happen again. Yeah. And that's when I decided, you know, to leave Kansas City and to go to California.
Yeah. And that was for a coach.
Yep.
With Smith?
With John Smith.
John Smith.
Yeah. I basically only had 2 coaches in my life, Al Hobson and John Smith, the 2 greatest coaches, I believe.
Yeah, perfect. What was it about them that, you know, well, because you'd had more than just a coach-athlete relationship. I mean, you were really close to both of them.
Yeah, really, especially Mr. Hobson, you know, him. I mean, I was with him all summers, every summer. Really spent a lot of time with him at his house and things like that. You know, he's like a great uncle, a great uncle of mine. So, and I still keep in contact with him today. So
that's awesome.
I mean, it was really that was probably like the hardest decision I ever made in my life, was to leave him and go to a different coach, because he has done so much for me, and I'm like. Mm-hmm. Man, but sometimes, especially as an athlete, you can't do what you think, what other people think is best for you. You have to do what you think is best for yourself so you can get to where you want to go. I mean, because at the end of the day, if it works or if it don't work, all you can do is look yourself in the mirror and be like, I chose this path. So that's when I decided to leave. One of the hardest things I ever did.
Yeah, I see. What was the biggest moment after that really made you feel like was your breakthrough moment?
No, it wasn't. Not until a while. Boy, I was getting beat in the head every day. I mean, practices was tough. You know, because I'm practicing with Otto Bowden, John Drummond, who have all been in the Olympics. They got Olympic gold medal. They got Olympic medals, I would say. And, you know, I'm just learning a lot of new stuff, because John just was like, I'm not going to hold anything back. I'm going to just give you everything that I possibly can. And some days I felt like at leaving practice, like my head going to explode. I was like, I can't pick this stuff up. This is just different. But, yeah, it didn't happen. It didn't click, because even though I was going through the trials and things like that and getting to the Olympic trials, well, it was the World Championship trials coming up, and I'm like, man, I've been running like shit this year, and I ain't been running good. I don't know what's gonna happen. I started looking in the paper. I'm like, I'm gonna have to go get me another job, and this is not what I want to do. And I basically just threw it down. I was like, nah, I'm not doing that. I gotta figure this out.
Yeah, because I mean, the money then is way different than the money now.
Oh,
right? I mean, there's a big difference. Things have changed. I mean, if you were doing that today, you could have cashed in.
I mean, mine was pretty good though. I mean, I paved the way for them to come through. So, but no, but just starting out though. Starting out when you're in the Olympic sport, it's hard, because only the top guys get paid the best money. So I wasn't a top guy at that time. So I'm like, oh, man.
And California ain't cheap.
Yeah, not at all. So I had to make something happen. So I was able. We went to a race that was in Prefontaine in Oregon. It's called the Prefontaine Classic, and then I don't know, something. I didn't win that race, but something clicked in the race, and after the race, I went back to my coach and I was like, I think I felt what you've been telling me to do. Something happened. I just want to. I got to get back to that again. And he was like, all right, good. I'm finally something is coming out. So then when we went to the World Championship trials, it was in Indianapolis that year. And the first round, he looked at me. He was like, look, you ready? He's like, look, you're going to run fast. Just look at the clock and just walk off like you knew it was about to happen. And I was like, I don't know what he's talking about. Yeah, I'm going to go. And then after I went down there and I ran that race and I looked at the clock, it had 9:91. And I was like, now that's the fastest I've ever ran. I've never ran faster than that. Like, that was so easy. And it's all kind of stuff going off in my head. I was like, nope, just stay calm. Just walk in the back and get ready. Like, and from there, I was like, oh, I got this now.
Yeah, because
I know what I'm doing. I got it.
At one time, I think nobody had run like career-wise more sub 10-second races than you.
Yeah,
you are it.
Yeah, but like I said, once I figured it out, it's about knowing how to do it. So now I was like, okay, I know this. So now I'm just trying to run for perfection. I'm trying to clean up everything and run the best technical race I can run now.
What was it that clicked? What do you attribute that to?
I really don't know. It was just a feeling that I had. I can't really pinpoint the one specific thing, but it was just the feeling that I had.
Once you did it, the confidence was just there. All you had to do was do it once.
Yeah, the confidence was through the roof.
Because then that tells you can do it. There's no denying it. That you are who you wanted to be.
Yeah.
Working all the work.
Or getting there. Getting there. It's like this work is paying off.
Yeah. That's got to be fantastic. So tell us a little bit. I'm going to do it this way, comparing the two, because I would guess, you tell me if I'm wrong, but the two greatest things are, one, the world record, and then the gold medal at the Olympics. Now, I'm sure it would be awesome to set the world record while you're at the Olympics.
Yeah.
But, to get ultimate. Both at the same time, right?
That's the ultimate.
But do they both have the same meaning for you, or...
no, but yes. Like there will never be another world record holder that had my time, but as man progresses, time will progress. Man gets faster. So my world record was not meant to last forever.
Right.
And that's a good thing, because you don't ever want the sport that you love to stay static. But getting the gold medal, it's only certain few. It's like I'm in two clubs, two really prestigious clubs, and which club is better? It's like they're both.
Yeah,
great.
but how many people get to be in both clubs?
Not a lot.
Not a lot. That club, the club where you're in, done both, is even a smaller club.
Yeah. But I mean, it's great. If I had to pick, though, maybe it would be the Olympic gold medal, because that's the ultimate stage that you can be on, and for you to really perfect your craft on that stage, on the biggest stage possible.
Well,
that has to,
on the
just a little bit more.
Yeah, on the smallest stage, my daughter played ODP soccer, Olympic Development Program, and she got to go overseas and represent the United States, and as a young little athlete and stuff. And man, being in, I remember the first game being in Italy and hearing the national anthem play in a foreign country, and your kids on the field. Man, that's something. And then you to do that at the most highest, the most ultimate level. what did it have meaning for you that you're representing the country? I mean, in a patriotic sense.
Yeah, because now you feel when, like, you go have a race, it's like, all right, this is all on me. But when you're at the Olympics, it's like, no, you got the USA on your chest. You got a whole country behind you, and you don't want to let anybody down. So, you feel that magnitude of you are representing a whole country of people now.
Yeah, and you know that you're bringing people together.
Yeah,
I mean, and
that's
good
a
Lord,
good
we
thing.
need that today, man.
Man, you
We
ain't
need to
lying.
come together today, brother. I'm
Yeah.
telling you.
Everybody likes to
Yes.
be so divided and think this side is better than the other side. It's just like, let's just all be one. And
You know, one of my
Just-
my favorite sayings, Maurice, is, hate your government if you need to, or be mad or whatever, but love your country.
yeah,
Two
Yeah.
two separate things. We can disagree about politics and politicians and what they're doing, but man, this is still the greatest place to do that.
I mean, I've been to a lot of places, so he obviously, but he's still home, and this is where you grew up. This is where, everything is great.
yeah. I mean, you had a good family and everything. You had good background, but you didn't have any special privileges or anything. You had
I didn't have
to
no-
put in the
I didn't
work.
have to. I didn't have special. Yes, it was a lot of work. But see, that's what I say. Like, especially now, a lot of the kids, they think it's going to come the easy way, and they want it just given to them. Nothing is going to be given to you in life. Like, you have to work and go take it, because they don't want you to have it.
Yeah,
So
because
you
people
have
may
to
not
go
know,
get
but
it.
you coach a lot of kids still today. You
Yes.
still do a lot
Yeah.
of coaching.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I do now.
Yeah.
Might as well. It doesn't make sense for me to keep it to myself.
What do you enjoy most about passing on the knowledge that you have that somebody else just isn't gonna be able to do? I mean, because they don't have your
But
experience.
I get the joy out of when I get a person a scholarship to go to college, or if I see that person reach a goal, that makes me feel good. That's like, okay, I've done what I was supposed to do now.
Mhm.
It's all about that. It's all about giving back to them and trying to help them get to where they want to get to.
Yeah, and I mean, most people don't have as long a professional career. I mean, as you did, right?
I started
mean,
young too, though. So yeah, you're correct.
Yeah, I mean, you stayed with it, and then after hitting the pinnacle, you're still right there dealing with the injuries that you had,
Yeah.
and to work through. I mean, one race even, I don't know how you run 9.8 something when they say you're limping across the finish line.
Yeah. That
How does that be a thing?
that is one race I wish I had back, because if I could have finished that race, who knows what the world record would have been. Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just was that? I mean, you just felt it during at the point, like you
yeah.
just
No,
knew it
yeah.
was there.
No, have you seen the movie Fast and the Furious, the first one?
Oh yeah, of course.
The first one, when he first hit the NOS button, and then the car started shaking, and then the bolt started popping off. I said, that's what happened to me. I hit
The
my
bolt
NOS, and my body wasn't ready for what it's about to take off, and the bolt started popping off of there. So, I mean, I wish I was able to finish that race, though. Who knows what the world record would have been. It would have been remarkable, though.
That's awesome. Now, how did you transition? I mean, when did you really realize you needed to transition, that, time was coming to an end on the track, and what are you going to do for the next chapter, for the next big chapter of your life?
It really took me a while, and this goes to a lot of like professional athletes. Like when you stop doing something that you've been doing for so long. I mean, I went into a depression, and just because I just like, what am I gonna do? I've been doing this one thing for so long, getting up, training every day, and now I wake up and I don't have, I wasn't thinking about setting up stuff for when I finish and things like that. I'm all in the moment. So it took me a good 2, maybe 3 years to just like get out of that.
Well, being the GOAT, that was your identity. Everything was
Yeah.
wrapped up in that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, just being that person and just being that guy and just doing everything that I
And
had
you
done.
enjoyed the limelight, like
Yeah.
walking away. Nobody who wants to walk away.
Yeah, but I mean,
'Cause really-
I walked away. I walked away though, but because I had nothing else to prove in the sport though, and I was like, okay, I got a little calf injury, and I was like, do I really want to work to get back from this little injury? I was like, what more do I have to prove? I have the world record. I have the Olympic gold medal. I've done it back-to-back times, and it's like everything that a person would want to accomplish in a sport, I've accomplished every single thing. Yeah. There was nothing else for me to do. And that's why it was easy for me to walk away. But then it's hard at the time because it's like, all right, what am I going to do now?
So it's more about not knowing what you're going to do than knowing that was that was over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you just get into that no man's land. You're just like, all right, I didn't prepare myself for this, but what am I going to do?
Yeah, because I kind of look at you and your career as like for sprinting, you're the Tom Brady. You know what I mean? That's that, and he struggled walking away.
He did. He came back. Yeah, true.
Yeah, that's the thing. So then it took you a couple years. You said, experience a little depression. What changed? Where did you find your passion then?
It really, I mean, even when I was training, I was working with some high schools and things like that, and I had a lot of fun doing that. So I just got back into that. It was like, let me at least have some fun. Let me go, do this, and I just started training the young athletes again. Just doing most of that.
And you're still doing that today. Other things, anything else on your plate that you're?
I got a couple of things going on now. Actually, I'm about to be starting a podcast also.
Awesome.
In the next month, we're gonna be shooting our first shows. So getting that together. Still coaching and stuff also.
Yeah. So what are you looking to do with your podcast as far as?
Oh, we're gonna
sharing
be
what's your
talking
focus? Talking shit, of course.
We're gonna be talking
You were
shit.
the king of talking shit.
Yeah,
but you backed it up like nobody's ever backed it up.
Yeah. Now we gonna have a bunch of sports athletes on there. It's gonna be me and one of my best friends. His name is Jason. So he was he was heavily into basketball. He used to train a bunch of basketball players. And that's how I worked with a bunch of basketball players, is through him. And then, we just going to have some fun.
That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. Other stories, what's something, because most of the stuff people know, you're public about your career, but what's something that maybe people don't really know about you that you're willing to share? Open the door a little bit.
I like to help people as much as possible. That's one thing.
Yeah. I always think, people talk about their purpose, and I say, purpose is easy. We all have the same God-given purpose, and that purpose is to serve others. And what's different is our mission.
Yeah.
How we do it, how we do that service.
Right.
But giving back.
Yeah. I mean, what makes you so special to just keep it all to yourself, especially when you see somebody in need and it's easily to help them, just to give them some knowledge of something and to help them get to where they want to go. And like, I think people, if you haven't done it, you should just go help somebody accomplish something and see how that makes you feel inside. And I don't care what you're going through that day, I guarantee you're going to feel real good.
For sure. Now, you also, stayed tied closely to the sport, being involved with the IAAF and World Athletic. So kind of like current days, we got some issues going on.
But we always got issues. We're going to always have some issues. It's going to always be something for them to talk about. And, the thing is we have to abide by whatever they say.
Yeah.
I mean, that's basically it. They make the rules, and we just got to live by it.
Yeah. But what are your thoughts on, I mean, I think it's different from high school to college or how competitive it is and levels, but
It
having
is, but I don't-
having men and women's sports, that's what I'm getting,
Oh well, sorry about that.
That's all right.
Yeah, having men and women's sports. I mean, look, why isn't it not more the other way around? Why is it that it's not a lot of women trying to come over and be in the men's sport? Because you know that you really can't compete with us. So why is a man gonna go compete in a women's sport? Oh, I know I can compete with them and I can beat them, but you really can't because you were born different than them. Now, if y'all was born the same, you would be getting whooped by them too. I guarantee it. You wasn't good enough to make it over here, but you're gonna try to go. Like I don't know how many people it's serious for. They just love it and they want to compete on that side. I think we're in such of a touchy state now that if you talk bad about them, a guy going to compete, oh, I identify as a woman and I'm going to be a swimmer now, and you go and you're breaking all these records, but you wasn't doing none of that when you was competing with the men. Like, so why do you feel good for that? Literally.
I don't understand it because when we researched it, and I believe the NCAA president said, like, in the last year, there was like 8 athletes. Like, why is this such a big deal over 8 people? But that they shouldn't be. It shouldn't be a question.
Just give them their own category.
Give them their own category.
We have the men, we have the women, and then you are whatever you want to say. This is y'all's event.
But you had to make choices in life.
Right.
And look, I'm not, if somebody wants to dress up or do whatever or cut up bodies, you can do what you want as an adult. But sometimes there's going to be consequences that you want to do that. I'm not against you, man, but I am against you competing against women and pretending to be a woman and spiking the ball in a woman's face. That's just ridiculous.
No. Yeah. But like I said, they couldn't do it when they were trying to be, they couldn't make the men's team, or they couldn't do that against the men, but now you got a little bit more oomph, and now you competing against them, and you got a little more than them, but you going to just rub it in their face. Like, be for real.
Yeah. Well, I'm a girl dad, so and you have a girl, right?
Yeah, I have 3 girls. and if a guy gonna come up and race my girls, whoop him.
Yeah, but just I don't want somebody taking something away from somebody else who put in the work, like you talked about.
Right. In the other category, you're not getting on the medal stand. But you're barely beating the women, and now you win the gold medal, and you done took that away from two women who's been working hard for that. Like it's just not fair.
Yeah. That's what it is to me. It's not about equality, it's about fairness. I'm not trying to take away or somebody else's rights, but it doesn't mean you have the right to be in the sport. If you want to compete, you can still compete, but you got to compete in your biological gender. You got to compete against the men. You can still do all the other stuff outside the pool, or off the track and dress up and do it. I don't care what you do. That's
exactly. I don't care. That's to each his own.
Yeah,
but
they do. But the World Athletic for sprinting and that stuff, they do have some of the, I think, better rules. They're considered more strict rules.
No, they are,
right?
But
that's for the best.
Yeah, no, it is, but I mean, it's still messing up that person's body because they make them take, estrogen and everything. And like you want to mess up your body, then go ahead and do that. Then it's like you really want to go through all of this just so you can compete.
Or whatever the reason is. Yeah. So as we kind of wrap things up, one of the things I haven't asked you yet, what about the current state of the sport? And do you see, Noah or Richardson, who's the face of the sport right now? And are they capable of being the face of the sport, or who would you say is we need to be looking for?
Yeah, I mean, well, the faces of the sport is probably going to still stay the same, but they just gotta compete better. Sha'Carri, she is the face of the women's sports, but we all know she has a tough road ahead of her if she wants to go and beat. I can't remember her name right now. Is
it from Jamaica?
No, not from Jamaica. No? She's from one of the islands though. Well, she lost to her in the Olympics though.
Okay,
but she took second to her, and that girl is a beast. So she knows she got to come ready, come ready for her. And then Noah, he makes a lot of noise, but he's gonna always be challenged. His 100 is not all the way there, and then you have Tobogo in the 200 that's running very well right now. He's going to give him a run for his money. So it's going to be good. It's going to be exciting. It's always exciting when you have competition like that. And it's not just, even though, I mean, I like going down there and I like winning every single time. Yeah. But it's always nice to have somebody who's going to challenge this person today.
Yeah. Well, I got really interested in it when before the past Olympics, there was the Netflix series on the run. And I watched that, and that was, if you're going to watch the Olympics, that was great preparation to really understand the people and who were running and what they were going through. That I really enjoyed that a lot. So yeah, that's kind of where I picked that up and probably made me pay a little bit more attention, because I can't say probably honestly since your career. I mean, I paid attention during Carl Lewis, of course, because I was just that age. I graduated high school in '86, and just that time period into the '90s, being young. But then, your period to me was the greatest period, the greatest era. And then, honestly, I didn't pay as much attention to it, and so kind of getting back into it a little bit again.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they can. I don't know if they carry your cleats yet. You know what I mean? That I don't know if we've seen that person.
I think that's a hard task to carry. But you gotta. I always say you gotta blaze your own trails. Because even when I was coming up, they was like, "Oh, do you want to be like Carl? Do you want to be like this?" But I was like, "Nah, I want to be like me. I'm gonna do it my way." And I think I've always stayed being me.
Yeah.
I mean, I like who I am. So
yeah. I mean, other than your brother. Looking up to him. After that, it was that just lit the fire, and the rest was your desire, raw desire.
Yeah, a lot of hard work.
Well, Maurice, thank you for joining us and sharing with people. I mean, this has been just fantastic for us and a great opportunity for me, and I can't thank you enough. I really loved it.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, man. Can people follow you now on social media?
Yeah,
where can Instagram? Where can people?
I'm gonna start posting more. I really don't post. I don't like people being in my business. That's just one thing.
Got that research in you, brother.
That's just one of the things now. All this Instagram and TikTok and everything. I'm on there. You can find me at Mo Greene. That's my TikTok and the Instagram. Mo Greene #9. So you can find me there.
Awesome.
I don't post that much, but I will start posting a lot more. I promise.
All right. That sounds good to me. All right. This is the Outlaw Apostle Podcast. I'm your host, Troy Neff. I'm the fucking guy.
Whoa! Who knew I would make it this far? They hated, they never believed me. Yeah, I would never drop the ball. I know I make it look easy. Yeah. Mayweather with the defense. I don't care what a critic got to say. I got them picking up the pieces.